Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another live edition of Wellness Wednesday. Wellness Wednesday is brought to you by Selma AIR. We are the nonprofit organization responsible for providing health and wellness services related to HIV prevention and care for folks who are living with HIV. But we are expanding beyond HIV, which is why Wellness Wednesday is so important and such a vital program in our community. And so our guests on Wellness Wednesday are experts in their field. Last week we had Keshay Smith, who is the CEO of Rural Health. This week we have the CEO of another organization based solely on fitness. Lord, he has been trying to get me in one of his classes, but I'm not ready for a heart attack. Look.
You think?
Mr. JARRIN Lewis is our guest today for Wellness Wednesday. Welcome, Mr. Lewis.
Thank you for having me.
As clearly, right now you're not doing Iron Fitness, but
No, I am not. This is my bread and butter job.
yes, the day job, absolutely. But for those of you all, for our guests who may be watching and are new and not familiar with Mr. John Lewis and Iron Fitness, can you just share a little bit with us about who you are, what you do, and then we're going to define this thing called wellness.
Okay. I am Jarrin Lewis, of course. Um, from Selma, Alabama, right here. Uh, Currently, I am a day welding instructor here at Wallace Community College, Selma. I have a beautiful wife and family, two kids, son and a daughter, and I mean, that's basically besides doing Iron Fitness. There are some other things that I do on the side, of course. But other than that, I mean, that's about it.
Okay, well, that's a lot. Because you mentioned a full-time job, stuff on the side, and a full-time family. So that's a whole lot.
Yeah,
But
that's
all of these things help to make us all well and
right.
how we are able to balance those things. So how do you define wellness?
Um, Wellness, I think, is both definitely physically and also mentally. So there's a lot of things that goes with that, but overall, that's both not just looking the part or thinking, just all both of those things together.
Okay. So it's not just about y'all, it's not just about the physical work, but it goes a long way to have the mental and the physical. So Iron Fitness, this is we've mentioned Iron Fitness a couple of times. What is Iron Fitness and what do you all do?
Iron Fitness is a fitness community, and we have many. I probably couldn't even count the people that are involved with Iron Fitness, both here in Selma and also anywhere in the world, because we do have platforms on um, IG, Facebook. Um, haven't expanded to Snapchat yet, but I do share
Okay.
all over the place, all platforms I share on. We basically try to get you up and get you moving, motivate you, inspire you in any way to start a healthy lifestyle, both physically and mentally. We try to educate you on anything from foods to certain exercises, anything dealing with fitness.
Okay. So a wellness community that is internet based and in person because you all host classes, right, in Selma?
Yes, right now the boot camp is not going.
Okay.
That will be going shortly, probably another month or so. The boot camp will be coming back. The boot camp runs on Saturday mornings, and I think we started outside in Block Park
Hmm.
here about almost 7 years ago. So right now
Wow.
we're trying to bring that back on Saturday mornings. I also teach a class at the YMCA here in Selma Dallas County, total toning, which I took over in 2015. I took that class over then, and it took it to another level.
Yeah, I've heard like great things. Look, about total toning. I didn't know that the boot camps were 7 years old. That's amazing.
Yeah. Uh, when I took over total toning at the YMCA, that came into play. So the
Okay.
the boot camp came into play. All of that kind of happened at one time, and I never knew that I would be doing any of this. So,
Well, all of our journeys look different,
right,
and they're different for a reason. So a major part of what you do with Iron Fitness has to do with our physical training.
right.
So, why is regular physical movement, if it's not obvious, like what are some of the reasons you point to when encouraging people to get up and get moving? Why is regular physical movement important? What does it do for our bodies?
I think it does a, a bunch of things. One thing that it does, it helps you to feel well. It also helps you mentally at the same time, and just one of those things with I think our community and our people, certain ethnicities, whatnot. I say, as on my side, my dad's side of the family is high blood sugar,
Mm-hmm.
diabetes, that type of thing. So
Mm-hmm.
you always want to, if you have that on either side, you always want to try to get a jump start on trying to curtail that in any way that you can. So that definitely helps in those situations. And if you want to look well, a lot of people just want to look good. Um, so that's definitely another plus to working out. And it's not always about looking like a bodybuilder or or how some of these trainers look. Um, you just want to feel good. So it all that goes together.
Okay. So, looking good, feeling good, we understand that there are some positive things that can happen in regards to our health. I'm so appreciative of the fact that you mentioned how much of a burden, especially Black folks, carry when it comes to high blood pressure and diabetes. November is actually National Diabetes Awareness Month. So, for those of you all who have a history or don't know if you have a history of diabetes in your family, this is a good month to find that out. Talk to
Yes.
your people when everybody's coming in for Thanksgiving with their mask on or COVID card, the vaccination cards. Look, look, trying to get it all in.
Right.
But when your family's coming in, ask those questions. Did grandma have diabetes or does granddaddy have diabetes? Like those are things that we need to know about ourselves. And like John just said, it's important for
Very.
us to know those things so that we can get a what he said, jump start.
Yes.
Yes. On making sure that our health is maintained.
Uh,
Yes. So, what are some of the basic things that we can do to get a regular exercise routine started? Do we have to get in a class? Is walking enough? Like, what does regular physical fitness look like?
Yeah,
How can we get that started?
just come and go, and just start off with the boot camp. Just dive in. Yeah. No.
That sounds scary. I don't know. Like, oh, jeez.
Yeah, I don't think that you should rush in, especially if you haven't been doing anything at all.
Okay.
Definitely don't rush into jumping into a certain classes that are very high intensity, whatnot. You
Okay.
can always start with walking. It's a good thing to start with, and just getting just moving around. And different ages require different things. So somebody age is definitely walking, and then you just want to get some movement, arm movements, leg movements, to people who want to really get after it and change their bodies, transform the body. You can start, in the gym with weights, light weights, and work your way up. Just depending on your fitness level and where you want to go, and where you see yourself at.
So I have two questions in response to what you just said. One is about the age difference in what we are or should be doing. Our young people, we see, at least I know that I read a lot of information about health and young people, and we see a slide backwards when it comes to physical fitness for our young people. So what are some things that as parents that or community members who are interested in making sure that our babies are getting fit, right? Because
Right.
PE doesn't look the same anymore. And then all of the other things that we used to do, it just doesn't seem like we see as many young people outside riding bikes and skating and playing basketball as we used to.
Right.
So, what are some of the things that we need to do as parents and community members to get our young people moving?
But definitely you want to do those things early. Uh, Little league sports, youth sports. If you're working out or walking, definitely get your kids involved with that. That's a good start. And as they come up through school or whatnot, they will be more prone to take hold of that and keep that going. I was an athlete through school. I played all of the youth sports. My dad was a coach, so that was a thing right there in itself.
Yeah, you gonna play.
And so I was gonna play something, but definitely implement that in and join your local YMCA or your local fitness clubs.
Yeah.
That's the help. I think most of the fitness clubs around the area, even outside, they offer different programs, youth sports, and all of that. So definitely take advantage of all of those things.
Okay. So I also wanted to go back and kind of piggyback or pinpoint some things that you said around the importance of like walking,
Mhm.
right? And just
Right.
even if you're starting out with walking. One of our prior guests, Miss Smith, talked about the importance of her adding walking into her daily routine as a part of her wellness, like her mental wellness, right? That she
Right.
said that her day just doesn't feel the same when she doesn't walk. So, are there any other benefits other than spending that time? Like, what actually happens when we just walk?
I think one of the major things that it does, besides changing your body and changing your conditioning,
Mhm.
it starts to de-stress you. It's a de-stressor, I think, when you start to exercise. And I think we all have a certain level of stress depending on what you do. But definitely to me that is one of the most major thing that it does. Besides the obvious, is just bringing your stress level down. Helping you unwind. Whether you start your day with it or you end your day with it.
Hmm. Okay. So starting or ending our day with walking could just be a really good start. And is that a daily thing that we need to do, or is that like can we do it twice a week, 3 times a week?
Well, it depends on the person. I would just, my opinion, I probably would uh, at least 3 times a week,
Okay.
you know, try to walk, anywhere from, a half a mile, a mile on up to 2 or 3, and some people walk 5 miles, and they can walk them down in just a little time. So it doesn't take long to get out there and get moving and get some good exercise.
Okay. So what about toning? Because you mentioned it in a prior response and you just talked about the impact that walking can have on toning. If
Mhm.
I just want to lose weight, but then I go into the weight room, but I want to lift weights, but I don't really want to look like a bodybuilder. Like how does that how do we balance those things if we don't have a personal trainer?
um it's plenty of information out there. It's
Okay.
nothing that you can't find. One would be YouTube.
I was about to say, come on, YouTube University.
That you can't find on YouTube.
Okay.
But reach out to someone that you know. If you have a friend that's into fitness, myself, of course. Anyone who's into that type of thing, ask them how to get started. Look around. Educate yourself at the same time is very important. So it's not hard at all, but it can be challenging if you haven't, like I said, if you haven't been doing anything. So you have to just get out and get started and try to find something that motivates you. Different things motivate different people. So find something that motivates you. If you need some help, it helps when all the family does it together. Either you're your spouse, your kids, whoever.
Okay, so make it a family affair.
Yes.
And that's a wonderful thing because you did encourage us to get our young people moving. So getting involved in youth sports, maybe even walking the track if we're a mom, walking the track while our babies are either practicing or playing in whatever game. So it's a lot that we can do, and I'm so glad that we have access to those things in our community. So, and not to say, because we are broadcasting live on Facebook and we know that this show will go all over. But if you are in the Black Belt, if you're in Selma, Mr. Lewis is definitely a resource. You also do personal training.
Right now, personal training is kind of backed up.
Okay. Uh
Um,
oh. Look. So that means that's a business opportunity for somebody. Listen.
but please do reach out and eventually. But we have also, I'm not the only person, but there are some people around
Yes.
that do training, personal training.
Okay.
And also we have at the YMCA where I teach total toning, we have a personal trainer, Mr. Kenyatta Rucker. It's he's the other personal trainer.
Okay. So I'm gonna have to get Mr. Rucker on the show.
Yeah,
But and I'm sure both of you all have been approached. And probably November and December and January are the busiest months because
right.
we all know that January we enter the new year with these resolutions.
Yeah, we
And
get ready
so
for
many of us
rush.
say,
Rush comes in January when everybody
yes.
blows
Because
out.
we make these resolutions.
Right.
So if our desire is to change our habits, what are some of the things that you can suggest for folks, particularly around weight loss, because that's got to be that's the gym rush in January. What are some things that you can say to help us achieve our goal of weight loss and not just see it as some sort of quick fix like January? You start out hot and heavy, and then by March it's like, oh, child.
And then definitely start at a slow or decent pace for you. One of the most major things is going to be weaning. Some people can go cold turkey with bad habits, but the thing to do would be to start weaning yourself off of bad habits and bad foods, whether it's sugars, you know, fried foods, everything in moderation. But start to wean yourself off of the bad habits, whatever they are, and just kind of write some things down. Write some goals down. Write um, some things that you would like to stop doing. Or stop eating. So you can look at those and make yourself accountable. I think it's one of the biggest things to make yourself accountable for your actions. So definitely start to wean yourself, start to get out, gradually increase, your water. I don't think any of us really drink the water that we should. Increase your water intake would be one thing. Fruits are good. Um, Things like that. Simple things. Try to stay away from processed foods as much as you can. Starches, of course, is to be another one. Also,
So now you're talking about the nutrition factor,
mm,
which I know impacts a lot of us. It seems as if the busier we are, the less time we take um, to appreciate the goodness of
uh-oh.
actually preparing foods, right? And we go to fast food or fast
Am I
casual.
here?
Hmm. We can hear you. We can hear you. Are you able to hear me? Technology is a beast. Can you hear me? I don't think so. Well, while we wait for Mr. Lewis to come back on, we do just want to encourage everyone to take time out to do something special for yourself. One of the things that he mentioned, yes, there he is. Yes, you're back. One of the things I won't say one of the things that you mentioned is around nutrition. You were starting to talk about water intake and nutrition. I've heard of these things like keto dieting, and using intermittent fasting. Where what do you think about those things as approaches to taking the pounds off and improving our health?
I tell you what, everything doesn't work for everybody.
Okay.
Um, Now I will say, try
Hmm.
whatever you may like. Okay, well, be
Okay.
careful with some of these things like fasting or whatnot, because if you don't know, one of the things, like I said, make sure that you know what's going on with you, whether it's a history on your parents' side or whatnot, and then definitely go and get yourself checked out so you can know, because some of these things that are out there, um, you may not need to try because of whatever your condition may be. So make sure that you're paying attention to your body, one thing, and then be careful with rushing into something as a fast or any kind of program. Make sure you know what's going on with you for the most part, and then try some things, and then see what works for you.
Okay.
Pay attention to see what works for you. But definitely, just the basis is the basics or the foundation of it um, are real simple. It's to get out and get some gradual exercise. Calisthenics is one. Stretching in the morning, getting out and walking, all of those things to start.
So when we deploy these strategies, so we're walking, we're drinking water, we're increasing our intake of fresh fruits and vegetables, we're starting to lose the weight. What are the aspects of our physical health other than like diabetes and high blood pressure that are impacted? Like what happens when we lose weight? What does it make a difference for real, for real?
Yes, yes, it does. That can boost your confidence, definitely.
Okay.
If you look a certain way, or if you lose a certain amount of weight, you can invest in another wardrobe or some other clothes that you would have liked to wear, that you couldn't wear before then. Or if you're trying to put on uh, good muscle,
Okay.
or tone up, as you would say, at the same time. And so, a confidence, just feeling good, feeling in good condition. It helps your thinking, of course. And then also it helps your stress level at the same time.
Okay. So now stress.
Mhm,
Um that's something that a lot of us deal with,
mhm.
because just as you expressed in your introduction of yourself, when you are family man, you're working, you also have other responsibilities in the community and other businesses. So how has being physically fit helped you, in managing stress and balancing all of the things that you're juggling on a day-to-day basis?
I tell you what, if I weren't in any kind of, I'm not in the best shape I can be, I don't think. But if I weren't in some type of condition, I probably couldn't do all of the things that I do. Um, I just started here with teaching welding here at Wallace,
Hmm.
having to go out into the shop, do several different things in the shop, demos, uh, jumping on and off forklifts and moving bottles, and everything here is mostly physical, even though there's a part of critical thinking that we do, but that
Hmm.
also helps that at the same time. But I definitely couldn't do some of these things if I weren't in shape to some degree.
Okay. So now if you could just automatically like blink your eyes and everybody in our community would just get it, anything that you can think of related to like physical fitness, what's something that you just wish people would just get?
um, I think it would be with, it's so easy to pick up a bag of chips,
Mm-hmm.
or uh, a cupcake, or you know a soda, all of these things that that are not good for you or that good for you. Um, be conscious of what you're putting in your body
Mm.
would be probably the main thing. You know, be conscious of what you're putting in your body. If you go to the grocery store, read labels, see what's in what you're eating, because a lot of times you don't know what's in that stuff. You don't know how it's been grown. Uh, a lot of people now are starting to do their own garden. So that's something you can kind of start to do. Tomatoes, start with something simple and start to grow some of your own food also.
Okay. So now you just hit on something that's going to be very near and dear to quite a few folks that I know locally who are starting to farm.
Hmm.
And their UAB actually had a program for our elders that they gave them like actual garden, the raised bed garden equipment and the soil and things like that, because we're starting to realize that in grocery stores, and it's not just starting, but some of us are starting to realize that like in grocery stores, all of the fruits and vegetables that we have access to are not being organically or naturally grown.
Right,
There are various chemicals that are being used as pesticides and things like that. And we really can see in study after study after study the impact on our physical health
right,
down the line.
right.
So growing our own fruits and vegetables, look, our grandparents didn't have it wrong, honey. Look.
All right.
And so that even in an apartment, right, you can
Right,
do that because you can use pots to, large pots to
right.
grow.
Yes.
There are Lord, I forget where they get them from, but like these big red tubs that you can use as a
Yeah.
large flower pot,
Right.
right?
Yes.
Clean it out real good, put the soil in it. My mom has grown tomatoes in them for years.
Right.
So, it's an opportunity for us to get back to nature, which
Yes.
can actually be therapeutic as well, but then to feed our bodies something good, you know?
Something. Something good. That's right.
So, what do you, because it's almost time for us to wrap up, and I want to just conclude with giving you an opportunity to share with us what you do just to provide self care for you. Like, how do you just chill out? How do you veg out? Like, how do you actually relax? Because all of us need to find different strategies to just take it down 1,000 and
I don't,
relax.
I don't know if I don't know if I really relax,
Okay.
but I do. I think at the end of the day, I get to relax.
Okay.
At the end of the day, but I think I'm kind of right now, and we all go through different seasons and
Mm-hmm.
different grinds, as I would like to call it, in your life. So right now, I'm kind of in a grind right now. But I do, when I relax, I'm probably going to sleep. So I'm kind of a workaholic. But things I do to relax, uh, I look at different. I'm always looking at something for the most part. Uh, Looking at the new health kick, new ways to introduce exercises, new ways to help keep us fit. A lot of those things, and just hobby wise, I'm just always on the go, just always going right now.
Okay. So, and it's nothing wrong with us being busy.
No,
And I know people talk to me all the time. Well, how do you do what you do? It is certainly not because I'm physically fit. Let me just say that. So imagine me physically fit and being able to like really take time out.
time out.
So I want to encourage you.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I mean, definitely. With now, I can say that I do meditate.
Okay.
That would include some
Okay.
prayer
Yes.
also. So there are moments where I just take and sit and I think about things that I've done, whether it's in the day. I take some
Okay.
time and um, meditate and write things down and think about where I want to go. Set some other goals, write those down, and just, think and reflect. Just basically prepare myself for the next day or whatever it is that I'm getting ready to do, my next endeavor or whatnot.
So you do relax. See, y'all, look.
I do. I do.
That's exactly what this show is about. It is indeed a pleasure to be here every Wednesday at 12 noon. We ask you to spend your lunchtime with us as we talk one on one with some wellness experts. So, regardless of whether they are clinicians, because we have some doctors coming up, whether they are fitness experts like our guest today, we
Thank
want to encourage you to enjoy life, y'all.
you. Yes.
Every single moment that
Every
we have, yes, that
That's
we
right.
have to breathe,
That's right.
let's take advantage of it and make time to be well. So until next Wednesday, thank you, Mr. Lewis, for being here
Hey,
with us.
thank you. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So
Yeah.
we'll see you next Wednesday.
All right.